welcome back to the ALA Annual Conference 2021. We're live in Austin, Texas, and we're super excited because we have some Season 1 fan favorites. Eric
Sing your
Hightower.
song, sing your song.
Sing your song.
Do we have a song?
Do we have a song?
It's a beautiful day in the
Oh, no.
neighborhood.
Mostly legal podcast.
There we go.
Nice job.
We're going to have to cut that and put it in.
Oh, goodness.
Season 2.
Do we need to have the
I
rights
should have
to
done
that
some harmony
first?
there.
Okay, so we're 3 sessions in to
Yeah.
the conference, the annual conference, Amanda.
That's right.
What have you learned so far? What's your favorite part been?
I think the general session this morning with, I guess, Dr. Coach Jen was amazing. We learned a nice defensive stance.
We did.
But it
A
was-
We
defensive
did.
stance.
Did y'all hear about
Defensive
this?
stance,
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Holly,
can we tell?
you do it?
I will do it.
Do it.
I will
Go
do
ahead.
it.
Go ahead. We're on
Go ahead.
camera.
Right.
Okay.
2, 3, break.
Okay.
No, it's one,
it's
two.
the one. It's step 1, 2. 1, 2. What was the next part?
Yes.
And then
Oh, it was.
Superman.
And when do you use this?
When talking to business partners, namely, sometimes managing partners, we don't know. I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes.
I think
It's
it was
talking about if you have a strong foundation, you can pivot, you can move in any direction for any position.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we
Not all
tied it
that
all
stuff.
back in.
Did you guys
Brought it
all get
back.
up in the session?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
And my thighs are burning.
Was that recorded?
I
Sure,
certainly
it was.
hope
Sure,
not.
Somebody has.
You need to bring that camera in for that session.
Yeah.
we missed
Everybody
out.
kept
We
saying,
missed out.
Amanda, stick your, I'm like, I can't. Like, this is my thigh. And she kept us in that stance.
Yeah, and she's like, if it burns, it means you'll remember.
Wow.
And I'm like, I won't forget. I won't forget.
Hashtag never forget.
What about you?
Well, I played football in high school.
So that didn't bother you?
It was all good. No, it was great. It was a great session on leadership, for sure.
And showing up as your authentic self.
That's
Yes,
right.
Which the 3 of us
authenticity.
have a really hard time being our authentic selves.
Yeah.
The laughter.
It just
We had to
died
turn it
out,
down.
yeah.
We're going to have to turn it down again for this recording as well. So what are you guys looking forward to the rest of the conference? Are there certain sessions you want to hear?
I think the sessions are really great, and it's also about the networking. It's so, especially after the past 18 months, seeing everybody that we haven't seen in 2 years, that we met via Zoom, the business partners.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just so happy to be out of the house. And then, with the sessions, you learn something new in every single one. It's hard to choose. So I think the best part about all of it is all of it.
Yeah.
I think what's also great is I was actually the board liaison to this conference, and so as we were planning it, it took. This is the longest conference that's been planned because of the pandemic, and so the one coming up will be the shortest. But in this process,
Which I'm the board
Kara
Which
mentioned.
you're the board liaison for.
So Kara
No pressure.
mentioned in her message this morning that we had to constantly pivot, and that included education because as the pandemic went on, people needed different information. So speakers that you had already slated, then you had to go back to them and say, hey, by the way, can you talk about this now instead of that? So right up to almost the conference time, you were in conversations with speakers.
I think that's great about ALA in general is their ability to pivot and getting us here and all the stuff that it took to get us here and the safety measures and the security efforts. And
That's what makes everything so trustworthy. You know that they are the leaders that make us the leaders.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so I was thinking about
Speaking
this
of
while you guys
pivot.
were talking.
Yes.
How long have you guys known? How many conferences have the two of you known each other now?
We've only known each other a year.
This is our first
Is this
annual
the first
to
conference?
know each other, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you don't have
I
like a
know.
song and dance already prepared?
I'm going to be singing the Doublemint Twins because we look like Thing 1 and Thing 2 when we're all out wearing these shirts.
Last night we had that welcome reception, and I almost decided to lead a line dance at the end. I had already had it choreographed in my head, but then
You should have
So-
danced
Not to.
along with John up on stage singing.
Yeah.
Our CEO.
Oh
you
my
should have been
God.
dancing. You should have been
That
down
was
there dancing,
amazing.
leading a line.
That was amazing.
That is crazy.
He was free falling and tone deaf.
We are not cutting that out. We're keeping that. We're keeping that.
That
Nice,
message to
nice.
John Forbes, free falling and tone deaf.
Okay, so how's your life changed since the podcast?
I have to tell you, I have had several people at this conference come up to me and say, I know you from the podcast. I have to tell you how much fun it was listening to that. And I was like, well, I've done some other stuff, but they know me from the podcast. And so they were like, how do I get in on that? So we're kind of a big deal.
Sign up list
I know.
right over
We
here.
have a big, it's a big deal. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do Holly Eric 2022.
Yay!
Season
let's do
2.
it.
Season 2.
Amanda's
Season
shaking her
2.
head off camera.
I mean, it's like
You can handle this.
Oh,
Yes.
no. I can
You
only
can't handle the truth.
I can only share the limelight so much, right? Like,
I bet you're just dying on camera because you're really having to share it here.
oh yeah, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
Well, not that anyone asked me, but
I was asking you.
for me, the first phone call I got was from my children, and they were like, we did not know about that smelting story. I was like, why would I tell
Tell
my
us about
daughter
that one
the
again.
smelting story?
That was the one with the hot zipper?
Yeah. And there you go. There's the title.
That's his
zipper.
That's his handle.
No more kids after
Hot
that.
zipper.
Zipper.
So,
But you guys have both made some big career moves.
We
Because
have.
when we produced the podcast and it came out, both of your firm names are now different.
yes.
And you
Same
started
day.
same
Yes.
day.
Same
Same
day.
day.
Wow, you guys
We-
really are Twinkies.
I know. It just happened that way.
Twinkies.
But when you know, you know.
Rob wasn't
I'm
even
older
alive.
than I look. Don't
He
even
wasn't
try.
even alive in the 80s,
Don't
okay?
even.
And probably has never eaten a Twinkie in his life.
Probably not.
I love them frozen.
Do you?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You
Try
know
it out
those-
if you haven't done
they'll-
it. Try it
they'll
out.
survive the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah?
Twinkies will.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure they
there's
will.
nothing natural in that.
Those and
Oh.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, yeah.
Pop-Tarts, yeah. All right, so you got a new job.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about it, or can you?
I can tell you. I'm Director of Operations for Wright Constable and Scheme.
Okay.
I started the same day that Holly did, July 19th, and it's been going great. I think transitioning to a new firm after being in a firm for 11 years has been a little bit more challenging than I anticipated. When I got in the firm, I was told that it was a unanimous vote of all 18 equity partners to have me there.
Wow.
So that makes you feel good.
I know.
right?
I know.
You got 18 equity partners to agree on one
Yes,
thing.
on one thing.
That is.
But it puts a little pressure on you.
It does.
So you walk in the door and you know what you know, right, after almost 20 years of doing legal administration. But at the same time, you don't know how they were doing things, what you need to change. And so all of a sudden, you don't know anything. And you're just frustrated because it's like you're starting a whole new firm all over again. So it makes it challenging internally, especially when you're an overachiever and you want to get everything done right the first time. And when you're going in after somebody has retired, they've left the industry, the firm knows how that person did everything, and so you're coming in, and in my case, the administrator had been with the firm for 21 years.
Wow.
So my style of leadership is different than what their style.
Big shoes to fill.
Right. So the expectations are that you would be similar, but then you're not really similar. My receptionist, second day, I honestly didn't know what she did. I still haven't met everybody in the firm because I was hired during COVID. So, and she happened to be in the firm. So I went to introduce myself and I asked her, so what do you do? And because in my mind, I'm thinking I need to know what I can delegate to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you do. Well, I didn't know that
What's
she has
coming
a
your
lot
way?
of
What's coming
anxiety.
your way?
And the next
Here
day,
comes
she
the
called
trade.
out sick. And she said, you made me so nervous asking me what it is I do that I was fearful of my job and I can't come in today. I'm too anxious. And I was like, wow, what a way to start.
Oh, boo.
Putting your
you have
mark
to-
right on the firm.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful,
Yeah.
that even though it's changed for you, it's changed for them too.
Yeah, yeah.
Holly, how about you? What challenges
you,
have
Holly?
you run into?
Well, oh boy. So I did start a new job. I am now Chief Operating Officer for Slack Davis Sanger here in Austin. and we have offices in Dallas and Fort Worth as well. And so that transition has been fun because as I came in midstream to quite a few projects. And then they were also really excited about bringing me on, and they kind of know that the bandwidth since ALA, and they had a bunch of coveted projects that they were like, here, so, just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And so
That's legalese if you did not catch that.
yeah. So when people ask how it's going, I say I'm still in reactive mode and looking forward to proactive mode.
Amen.
So that's my PR response.
So a lot of people are going through the pandemic. They're reevaluating life. They're, maybe I want to do something different. For the legal administrators out there that are, since you guys both just transitioned to a new firm, if people are out there, if they're starting that process, do you guys have any tips for how to go about it?
I think it starts with your resume.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to do a writing exercise of everything you've actually done for the current firm you're in. Key projects that you've accomplished, because and I'm just going to be really honest, if you're thinking about transitioning, that means you're unhappy, and it's hard to remember the good times. It is.
Yeah.
And if you're underappreciated, hypothetically, it's also hard to remember the good times and all the accomplishments. Hypothetically. So I would say sit down, talk to people in your circle, in your professional circle, and start telling stories and be like, oh yeah, I did do a giant software, transit conversion with Centerbase.
Oh, all
And
right.
Like the plug.
yeah.
Like the plug.
And oh yeah, I did bring
Sleep
innovation.
Yeah.
I did bring workflows, because with that one thing, it spurs other things that you've done.
Right.
I developed workflows. I combined and eliminated double entry. So then you can start putting that in your resume as separate bullet points, and you can show your marketability. It's not just my education. It's not just the position. It's all the things that I bring to the table. So that's where I would say start, and then start talking to your colleagues and put feelers out. ALA has a job bank that's super, super important, and Amanda's always going to know someone. Eric's always, Eric with a C, not a K, is always going to know someone. It's all about that networking. So
And who are you again?
I have no idea,
I
man.
told you that's why I write names down.
That's right.
Write names down.
Holly,
Right here.
that's right.
Right here.
And to add to what Ollie is saying, I would probably take it one step further and research the trends that are starting to come about in the legal industry. Debbie Foster with Affinity just gave a great presentation on leveraging technology that you currently have. In her conversation, she was talking about trends that are coming to fruition within the industry. So when you're in an interview process, those are things you would want to mention so that they see that you're on the cutting edge.
Drop
And
that
that's-
right there.
Because I think when you transition like that, they want to know that you can handle what is currently happening, but they all want you to, in some form or fashion, bring them to a different
What's
level.
one of those current things happening?
Well, just now there was a new ruling where LegalZoom is now allowed to hire attorneys.
Yeah, in
Yep.
Arizona?
In Arizona, yes. So they'll be doing legal work that way. You have equity ownership by non-partners that are coming, and then more legal law firms will be going into the cloud. So you need to be prepared and brushed up on your model rules of professional ethics and confidentiality, and lawyers are tasked with being able to even work this new technology and be knowledgeable in it. That's part of the model rules. So those are things they need to know.
My favorite takeaway from that session was, no, you do not need to print your paper pre-bills and mark them up by hand.
Right.
She said
That's
those
right.
specific things, and I'm thinking, okay, your mouth to partners'
I know.
ears. Do you know anybody who could help them solve
I'll just
that
smile
problem?
right at the camera.
She did also
We need to
say-
add like a little ding.
She did also say, and I had to chuckle because it was something that Rob said in the first podcast, and she said every firm she goes in to talk to, the first thing they say is, "We are unique in the industry," and she said, "Please tell me how you're unique."
Oh yeah. Debbie's great. Debbie's great.
Yeah.
She keeps it real.
Yeah.
She does, for sure, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming back together with us here at the conference.
Anytime
Ollie
Amanda
there.
lets us, we'll be here.
Well, so do you have any outgoing vows? Do you need to renew your vows?
No, I don't think so. I think
Oh, I forgot his name.
that's right. In the words of Mariah Carey, I'll be there.
Just look over your shoulder.
That's a wrap.